presence of God is here because you are here. We are the face, the hands, the feet, the embodiment of the one power and the one presence we call God. In God we move, live, and have our being. In each other we move, live, and have our being. And today, as we light the candle of Advent for peace, we remember that the divine power of peace always resides in, as, and through us. The peace of God is the only real peace. Peace of spirit is ever abide in peace. We are the peace of God. Amen.
Oh, in the spirit of peace, we'll remember what miracles we are, that we all are miracles, and we'll sing that. My pleasure. In the spirit of peace, well, I'll stand like a willow, flowing and free, so grateful to be in the spirit of grace. Oh, I'll sing like a nightingale and see God in every face. God's grace in the spirit of peace. And I am open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle that I am today. Open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle to birth a new way. Ooh, in the spirit of peace, well, I'll pray like a mountain, all my smallness released, so majestic and free, in the spirit of grace. Oh, I'll dance like a sparkling stream and see God in every face. God's grace in the spirit of peace. Everybody now, open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle that I am today. We are open to the miracle, the miracle, the miracle to start a new way. peace and ease. In the spirit of peace.
Thank you, Meg. Unity on the River, hi Maura, is a center of celebration, inspiration, transformation, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. As we hold those truths in our heart, let's say together the vision and mission statement. Starting with the mission statement, we are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And the vision statement, centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. Good morning. Welcome to Unity on the River. I'm Reverend Carol Walrazak, an interfaith minister and lead chaplain here at Unity. I'm so happy to be facilitating this service with Reverend Ogun Holde. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah. My goodness, and I haven't even formally introduced him yet. He is our guest speaker today, the second Sunday of Advent, and his talk will be called Give Peace a Chance. And I would also like to welcome his mom, Rosie, with us today from Barbados. So nice to have you here, Rosie. Well, we had quite a joyous celebration last night at the gala. It was wonderful, and I know some of you couldn't be there. I will share just a little. You know, I've been at every concert, and this was the best I've ever been to. It was really good. And I just want to ask a few people to stand. The person who worked the hardest, there were two of them, board member Elaine Gaffney, if she could stand, and also Paula Jorgensen. Yes. And Maura, of course. Yeah. And I'd also like to ask anyone to stand who worked at all on this gala. Just stand up and we'll give you applause as well. We so appreciate it. If you sang, wonderful. And just to let you know, we still have the silent auction going on and the raffle for gift certificates in hospitality. So we're keeping that open after service for a little while, and we'll be closing that today during hospitality. Now, I know for a fact that we've already brought in about $1,000 just on raffles alone, which is good. And I got the good news this morning that the live auction brought in $10,850. And we'll know more because we haven't even tallied the ticket sales yet. So we'll give you a further report later on. So here at Unity, we have been on a journey to connect with our inner guide and enhance our personal relationship with the Christ within. We've also found ourselves in transition since May. And we've been using life's changes for spiritual awakening. As 2014 draws to a close, we are just so happy that Ogun will be our minister starting January 4th. And I'd also, today, I'd like to welcome anybody who's streaming with us. So if you could just give a wave. Jay is back there. We just so appreciate your being with us. Sometimes we have as many as 40 to 60 people streaming our services. We'd like to welcome anyone who's celebrating with us for the first time. So if you could just raise your hand, the ushers will bring a flower. I see a hand over here. Anybody else? And we're just so grateful that you're here. You bless us. If you take that flower, someone from the welcome team will greet you. Now, there's usually a welcome table out there. It's kind of after the gala. I'm not sure where it is. So welcome team, make sure you notice who is new and greet them. Just know that we do love people, all paths to God, and we're just grateful that you're here. Celebrations and invitations. The Giving Tree Project. Today, people brought in their gifts. The deadline is for next Sunday. These are gifts that go to area children in Amesbury who would not otherwise have a Santa Claus gift. Now, what happened last Sunday, and it was great, everything disappeared, every gift, but I noticed one was back. Yes, but there's a book in which you sign as to the age of the child and what the child requested. It's very important that you sign that book today because we're accountable for all of those children, and if somebody misplaces their gift or maybe just don't get around to buying something, the organization ends up paying for that. So again, I'm not sure where that table is, Judy. So they're in the corner by the Christmas tree in hospitality. And Judy, just raise your hand. You can see Judy if you need to record the gift that you took. But we're just so happy that you honored this project. It's wonderful. Teddy bears, hold them up, please. Oh, we're getting there. We need 100 teddy bears, and we're, wow. As of Thursday, when I left here from work, we needed 40 more. We got a call from a congregant saying they were bringing in 10. So next Sunday is the last Sunday. So we'll need, I think, about 30 more, unless more were brought in than I know. We'll count them. And then Brian Dozer, who is a singer and plays guitar, is going to lead carols at the Amesbury Nursing Home. And it's right after service, and you're all invited to go and take the teddy bears to the residents. Okay. And we have several artists of the month for December. And I'm going to say the names because this was an open invitation to people here. Some of it's paintings, photography, what have you. So please stand if you're in the room. Andrea Ames, Elaine Falvey, Patrick Kennedy, Mickey Lucia, Beverly Mitchell, Hans Eker, I guess, Jean Davis, Renee Schneider, Eric Walrazak, Edith Hike, Deanna Joy, and Christina Mariah. Thank you all for being our Artist of the Month. And this is another project that we do for Christmas Eve. We need candles. And out in hospitality, you will see there are candles. These are drip protectors. And there are affirmations that need to go on these. If you're in hospitality drinking a cup of coffee, would you just grab one or two and put them together for us? We'll be doing this every Sunday till Christmas Eve. Thank you. And our last announcement right now is holiday shopping. Bookstore vendors. That means there are people who are demonstrating their wares. You can buy Christmas gifts. You can buy Christmas gifts from our bookstore as well. And that will be going right through the 21st. It's that time in our service where we greet each other in love. We call it namaste. Either a handshake or a hug, whatever feels comfortable, and look at people and say, I see you. I see your beauty. I see your magnificence. And Meg is back. And what are you singing for us now, Meg?
The Great Turning.
The Great Turning. Meg Rayne.
So in Tibetan mysticism, there's a place called Shambhala, and it's an actual community that's hidden in the Tibetan mountains, high up in those great mountains, hidden away, where people live in a utopian society of peace and harmony and free from sickness and disease. And so that's called Shambhala, and you'll be saying that. Say that with me, Shambhala. So you'll be called upon to sing that, and you'll hear it come around. And I want to dedicate this to my dear friend Lena Winston, who's in a health challenge, so we can all pray for her wholeness and health. Sorry. There. Take a breath. I'm sorry, there's something really wrong with my guitar. This has never happened to me before. There it is. Thank you. It's never happened. Of course it is. I look good, though.
I look good, though.
Keep playing that note, Brian. Come on. Shambhala, Shambhala. Turn to your neighbors and turn to your friends. Turn to your family and kiss them, and then turn to the sun and turn to the land. Turn, turn, turn again in the great great turning. Turn to the earth and turn to the sky. Turn to your gardens and plant your corn high. Turn to the winged ones the animals call. Turn, turn, turn to the all in the great turning. The great turning. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. Turn to your heart and turn to your mind. Turn to compassion with insight and find. Turn to community, reach out to care. Turn, turn, turn and share in the great great turning. Here we go, everybody. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. Oh, in the great turning. Keep singing that. In the great turning. The great turning. The great turning. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala. Shambhala, 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 Shambhala.
Thank you again, Meg. It's now my pleasure to formally introduce Reverend Ogun to you. We do extend a warm and grateful welcome again. Some of you may know some of this already, but some of you may not. Reverend Ogun is a nationally known author and speaker within the Unity movement. He is an ordained Unity minister, and his many titles include speaker, teacher, author, online radio show host, blogger, musician, husband, parent, social media consultant, and self-proclaimed geek. He is the author of a book called Rants to Revelations, and I understand there's a radio show on Unity Online radio network of the same title. He writes the classic and contemporary column for Unity magazine, and he co-authors the social media and ministry column for Unity Leaders magazine. Reverend Ogun.
I hope like 6 months from now that still happens. I know that's the newness effect, but we'll see what happens. Oh wow, look at that picture. Whoa. So yeah, that happened. That
know what it is.
that was what is well, it's me. Oh, you mean what I'm on? Yeah, we don't know what that. So very recently, my family and I took a trip to Universal Studios in Orlando, and this was outside one of the restaurants. And my daughter said, "Get on, let's take a picture." And when your 14-year-old says, "Get on, let's take a picture," you enjoy the fact that your 14-year-old daughter still wants to have fun with you. You realize that train is going to pull into a station soon and everybody's going to disembark, so you ride it as long as you can. So that's what happened. I think it's a Cowfish. That was the name of the restaurant, the Cowfish. They served sushi and burgers, and this was their... So it's supposed to be a fish with like horns of a... I really don't know what it is. I really don't know. I'm thrilled to be here again. This is a weird limbo moment for me as about to, in January, start my role as senior minister, but still here as a guest minister and last night as amateur rapper. It's sit down. If you weren't here last night at the gala and you missed that event, apparently there's some videos floating around on Facebook, which I'll do my best to take down as soon as possible, because, yeah, I'm always thrilled to be here. This is the second Sunday in Advent. This is the Sunday where we honor the theme of peace. And the funny thing about Advent and the Bible and the characters in the Bible is that there's this effort to pair characters in the Nativity Christmas story with the Sundays in Advent. So for the Sunday of Hope, we generally acknowledge the wise men who set off from the land far away, hearts filled with hope, following the star. This Sunday is peace. We connect that with the shepherds. Next Sunday, depending on which order you follow, I think it's love, Mary and Joseph, the parents, and then finally joy, the birth of the baby. So this Sunday is peace, and it's, like I said, with the shepherds, and I always found that strange. Because when you read the story, the nativity story, the birth of Jesus story in the Bible, where the shepherds are involved, it is anything but peaceful. Like, it's the antithesis of peace at that section. Let me read it for you. Tell me if you notice how unpeaceful it is. So I'm reading from Luke chapter 2. In that region there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you great news of joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You will find the child wrapped in bands of cloth lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly hosts, praising and singing God, saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those whom he favors." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us now go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us." So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. Where's the peace? First of all, they're out in the fields watching their sheep. It's at night. I imagine it would be peaceful then. And suddenly, there's an angel of the Lord. A bright being that scares the bejesus out of them. I didn't make that up. It's there. They were terrified. They were terrified. And to calm them down, more angels show up. Okay? So the first angel was terrifying, so somehow They thought it was a good idea. Let's bring some more of us. And the first angel just had a spoken message. When the rest of them showed up, they're praising and singing, so you know it had to be loud. So if the light wasn't enough, now there's all this noise happening with the angels. So then that comes to an end, and they decide, well, let's go check this thing out. Now, here's the thing about shepherds. Shepherds, I suppose now too, but especially then, what was their job? To take care of the sheep. So one of two things happened. They either abandoned the sheep and went to Bethlehem, and if they did that, they're out of a job. So what most likely happened is they brought the sheep with them. The last thing a mom who's just given birth needs is a bunch of smelly shepherds and a flock of sheep. And I assume there were a lot of sheep because there were shepherds, plural. So there must have been a good handful of sheep. And I can imagine sheep are out trying to graze, and all of a sudden shepherds are telling them, we gotta go. The sheep aren't happy, so they're bleating. There's a lot of noise already in a farm or in a barn with other animals who are making noise and bleating and mooing and neighing, and there's poop because it's a stall. You know, we have this idyllic image of clean hay with the baby and everybody's all like angelic, like, oh, you know. No, that's not the reality of it. They didn't have a room in the inn, so they were basically put in the shed out back where they keep the animals. How many of you work with animals? Yeah, all peaceful, clean, and smelling like roses, right? Yeah, no. So where was the peace? Where was the peace of this situation? Mary had just given birth, or just shortly before, given birth. I was at my daughter's birth. I witnessed my daughter being born. Trust me, there ain't nothing peaceful or tranquil about it. There was noise. There are things I can't unsee now if I wanted to. I still have phantom pain in my hand from my wife squeezing it under the contractions. This is why men don't give birth. We couldn't handle it. I'm just saying that right now. Where was the peace? You know, what happens, I think, is that we often confuse peace for inaction, for quietness. That's not what really peace is about. That's not what the real metaphysical divine idea of peace is about. Charles Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, talked about peace. This is how he defines peace. Peace, the harmony and tranquility derived from awareness of the Christ consciousness. Let's look at those two words, harmony and tranquility. When you look up harmony, harmony means being in proper relationship. Being in proper relationship. When we are in proper relationship with each other, even with ourselves, that's harmony. And when we look up tranquility, what does that mean? Free from or unaffected by disturbing emotions. Free from or unaffected by disturbing emotions. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes my emotions can be very disturbing. Like, they will take me for a roller coaster ride like nothing I went on in Universal Studios. Sometimes our emotions do that to us. When we are tranquil, we are free from that. It doesn't mean we don't have emotions. We're human, we have them. But we don't allow them to hijack us and take us for a ride that we have no control over. To be at peace is to be in a place of harmony and tranquility, to be in proper relationship and not being hijacked by the emotions. And those two things come from an awareness of our Christ consciousness, that divine, innate God consciousness within us. But notice the order. The awareness comes first, not the peace. Often we want to take the backdoor approach. We want to make ourselves be at peace in order to maybe uncover, dig down, live out that Christ consciousness. No, it's the other way around. We become aware of our innate consciousness, that God consciousness of us. And when we exude that, live that, then we find ourselves in a place of harmony and tranquility with ourselves first and then with others. We can't be at peace with others until we are at peace with ourselves. Put ourselves first. We put ourselves first in all things. I know that that sounds almost a little bit heretical. It sounds wrong. It doesn't sound loving. Put ourselves first. What do you mean? We have to put others first. We put ourselves first in our spiritual, emotional, physical, mental needs. All the things we need to be the fullness of the human beings that we are and the fullness of the godness that we are. We put ourselves first. Like they say on the airplanes, you put your mask on first. Then you put the mask on of the person next to you. If you want them to land with you. If you don't, that's optional. They may be out already and you're like, shh. I'm not saying I've ever had that thought. So to give peace a chance, when we talk about giving peace a chance, again, it's not a passive sitting back. To be at peace is not a passive thing. We think it is because we, again, often mistake peace for inaction. To give peace a chance is to create the conditions for peace. And when we create, we are in action. To create the conditions for peace is to be in action, not inaction. To be on purpose, not to be passive. To be at peace is to be in action. So let's talk about some ways we can do that. Let's make it specific to the holidays. You know, the holidays happen, and we have a lot of things we got to get done in the holidays. For a time of year that's supposed to be so joyous and so celebrating and so reminding of what's going on, this is a stressful time of year with all the things that we have to do. So if we look at our traditional holiday list, we can rewrite it a little bit. So instead of focusing on buying presents, how about just being present? Being present, being steady. When folks are in the hustle and the bustle of what needs to happen, just take a breath and be calm. Remind them what this season is all about, becoming aware, even more aware than the rest of the year, of that God nature within us. Instead of wrapping gifts, wrap someone in a hug. This is probably the time in humanity's evolution that we spend less time acknowledging each other with some form of physical contact. And I'll admit it, social media is to blame a little bit. Me, the social media geek, I'm well aware of it. Because it becomes safe to connect with others through the electronic media. In some ways, believe it or not, I'm an introvert. Us introverts, we're like, oh, thank God I don't actually have to be with the people. I can just say hello from a distance. But we're depriving ourselves. We, the introverts who avoid others, are depriving ourselves of something primal, which is connecting with each other. Instead of obsessing of sending gifts, send peace. Send the thoughts of harmony and tranquility. Sit with someone and be a presence for peace for them. Lots of food shopping happens in the holidays. You can still do that. I like food. Keep the food going. But let's consider those who don't have any. Hunger is an increasingly huge problem in our world today, in our country today. I was reading this article and realized that more and more, do you know what is the social economic class of people experiencing hunger more and more than any other section? Middle class. Middle class hunger. So we have people who live in wonderful houses in wonderful neighborhoods and drive in cars. but because of the economics of their lives, they're on food stamps, they're getting stuff from food pantries, and hunger's a real problem. So if you have a full table, how much can you give? How much can you share? Do you know where your local food pantry and food shelter is here? When's the last time you made a donation? Give. Give. There's no lack in God. There's no lack in us. There's more than enough to go around, so donate food. Number 5, make love. Now you can interpret that any way you want. Love and unity. Again, to quote our founder, Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, love is the great harmonizer. Divine love. Today when we said, I see you, the namaste, when we choose to acknowledge each other from that place of authenticity, that place of recognizing that they too, just because they are alive, that they're another human being, deserve to be loved by us. That's the great harmonizer. That's the great harmonizer. That's being in proper relationship with that person and with ourselves. And finally, be the light. It's a great time for lights in the holidays. Many of you, I know, I do it in my family. We drive around the neighborhoods and find the houses with obviously too much disposable income who are determined to be seen from outer space. And they've got so many lights up. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I love that they take the time, the energy, and the resources to remind the world that there is beauty here. And the ultimate light, the best light, the greatest light is the light that emanates from within. And we're really good at doing that at the holidays. We're really good about doing that at the holidays. Let's remember to do that every day of the year. Every day of the year, we can be the light. So this is our revised list for the holidays. This is how we can begin to create the conditions for peace. Create the conditions. And that's not being passive or tranquil. That's being in action. When we look at the avatars that we recognize as proponents of peace, they were not folks who were inactive. I'm going to read a few names for you. These are people who received the Nobel Peace Prize. And as these names go through your head, tell me which of them are known for just lying on the couch. Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia, Aung San Suu Kyi of Burma, Malala Yousafzai from Afghanistan. These are not people who are passive. These are not people who sit and do nothing. But these are people who are known and have been recognized for creating the conditions for peace. It's been a tough few weeks if you look at the news. In every major city, there's protests going on. And sometimes there's posts all over Facebook and in the news, prayers for peace for these cities. I invite you to realize that part of creating the conditions for peace often necessitates highlighting when we are not in proper relationship with each other. Let's look at Martin Luther King Jr., who dedicated his life, figuratively and literally, to illustrate into the rest of the world that there was not a proper relationship between peoples. And in doing so, he was creating the conditions for peace, conditions that to this day we are still working to create. So when you see the protests in the news, this is what's happening. Again, highlighting where there may not be a proper relationship so that we can create the conditions for peace. This is what it's all about. And often it's tempted as unity folks. By the way, let me just give you a disclaimer. This is a little bit of a disclaimer. Again, I said this last time I was here. I will say it again in case you missed it. Part of my role as minister, to bring comfort to those of you who may be afflicted and to afflict those of you who may be too comfortable. Okay? And often, in traditions like unity that are more contemplative, we often find ourselves too comfortable sitting on the yoga mat and the meditation cushion. Not that there's anything wrong with these. That's where it starts. That's where right action starts. Sitting on the meditation cushion, on the yoga mat, whatever your spiritual practice, that's where it starts. But remember, we have that fifth unity principle. We got to live it. How do we live creating conditions for peace where there may be places of improper relationship? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. And when we find an answer that works for us individually, we step into action. Step into it, bravely, boldly. Many of the people I read on this list are also known for their spiritual lives. Martin Luther King, a reverend. Mother Teresa, a nun. The list goes on and on. Another one on this list I didn't mention, Desmond Tutu, also ordained clergy. Yeah. We start in prayer, we start in meditation, we start in spiritual practice, and then we march forward. This is why I chose the theme for next year, because next year what we're going to do is to be clear that we start with a deep spiritual understanding of these principles that we practice, that these words that we hear, these texts that we read, what does it really mean? What does it mean for us? And then how do we put that into action to elevate ourselves to a place of expanded consciousness. Elevating seems like we're going up, but I want you to think of expansion as well. Higher, deeper, further, however you want to say it, a grander idea of our consciousness. So this is what our theme for next year is going to be. We are going to be rising in spiritual excellence. Rising in spiritual excellence. This is who we are here to be. We are here to be the avatars, not just find them, follow them, worship them, read them. We are here to be them as well. Yeah. We have this thought that from the day of his birth, Jesus was aware of who he was and what he was put on this earth to do. We have no way of proving that, but let's just say, for instance, after he got over the trauma of being born among the smelly animals, that he did lead a normal life until he got to the point where he said, like many of us say, you know what? How we have understood this so far is not okay. We have a deeper awareness. We've stepped into our spiritual excellence, and now we will speak and live our truth, regardless of where it takes us. This is what I am inviting you to step into with me next year. Creating the conditions for peace and rising in spiritual excellence. Namaste.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace.
So this moment, we center ourselves as we prepare for a time of meditation, time of turning within, that center of our being. So if you're comfortable, I invite you to gently close your eyes, allow both feet to be planted on the ground, and see yourself supported by the chair, comfortably yet upright and alert. Allow your hands to fall gently on your lap. And as your body begins to quiet, turn your attention to your breath. Follow that breath. Imagine yourself sinking deeper into the stillness with each breath. Did you find your mind distracted by the holiday list, by the what's next, what happened? Simply notice the distraction and, without judgment, return your attention back to the breath. Let the breath take us in. It is in the stillness that we lose our sense of time, our sense of place, or sense of ourselves. We sink further and further into the infinite expansion that is God. Into the infinite expansion of all that is. And the everything and the nothingness. Let our breath take us there. It is in this place that we find the right relationship with ourselves and the divine. It is in this place where there is no separateness, there is no other, there just is. This is the place we seek to emulate in our awakened lives. Guides us. The place that inspires us to create those conditions for peace. Is the place where we all end, all move and have our being. Place we call heaven. breathe deeper. Deeper into that stillness. When Jesus said, "You, my peace I leave to you." Place of deep abiding source in which we draw the strength for peace. So we remember this week. All action, all choice, all right spiritual beingness
We receive these prayer requests lovingly, knowing that you have heard the prayers of your children, appreciative that prayers are answered, that they're held here for a month with our prayer team, praying every day, and then sent to Silent Unity, and again for a month, prayed for every day. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for answered prayer. And so it is.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know in the stillness of this moment. love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. And I rest and trust and breathe and know, in the stillness of this moment, there is love. One more for peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know, in the stillness of this moment, there is peace.
In a few moments, we will be receiving our tithes and offerings. But I wanted to introduce the chaplains to you first. We try to have a chaplain in every corner in the sanctuary. So if the chaplains would please rise. After service, these beautiful souls are available for prayer with you. And whatever you're holding on your heart, they will share that with you in confidence in prayer. Thank you, chaplains. And as we're holding our tithes and offerings in our hands, I'd also like to invite the streamers to be with us. If you would like to donate, there's a donate button on the website right on the front page. It's much appreciated. And let's say the blessings of the tithes and offerings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Brian Hallisey is going to take the bench now, and we're going to do a duet, Mary, Did You Know? I want to thank Brian for all his help in the transition. He's been just so great, jumping in and playing extra. So wonderful.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would somehow walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you've delivered will soon deliver you.
Mary, did you know
that your baby boy has come to walk on blind man?
Mary, did you know
that your baby boy will calm a storm in his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has has walked where angels trod. When you've kissed your little baby, then you've kissed the face of God.
Mary, did you know?
Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb.
Mary, did you know
That your baby boy is Lord of all creation?
Mary, did you know
That your baby boy will one day rule the nation? Did you know that your baby boy was heaven's perfect lamb? This sleeping child you're holding is the great I am.
Mary, did you know
Mary, did you
Brian Hallisey.
Mother, Father, God, we know you are our supreme provider. We are so grateful for personal prosperity and prosperity here at Unity on the River. And we bless these gifts as they go out into the world to do your work and to do your will. Amen. We have more celebrations and invitations because we have a lot to celebrate. And here they are. Just a reminder that Jackie Woodside will be back with her. It's really her final talk for quite some time. And she will speak with us. It is the third Sunday in Advent, and she'll be addressing love. She also has part 2 of her workshop. It's why you have yet to experience the reality you desire and what to do about it today. It will be in the sanctuary. If you were in part 1, I know there were over 30 people in the transformation room, but we will have the sanctuary, and it's okay to attend the workshop if you missed part 1. You can come right into part 2. With sadness that I share with you that one of our congregants, Cheryl Short, passed away suddenly this week. Cheryl has been at Unity for a long time. She's quietly worked behind the scenes. I know she was on the folding team and she was involved in Indra's net when we had that. Right now, her memorial service is set for Saturday, December 20th at 2:30 here in the sanctuary. And Chaplain Amy Jocelyn was asked by the family to really help coordinate this service. So if any of you would like to be a part of the service, if you're friends with Cheryl, or just want to be present, see Amy. Amy, are you here? Just so they can see. She's in the back. You can just talk to Amy after service. And I know there's been a lot of concerns about Cheryl's cat, Ty. It was an older Siamese cat. And the blessing is that Ty has a new home with Sheila Seminac, I understand. Yes, so she's taking the cat. And just one more thing. As you know, most of you, we were doing a Thanksgiving Eve potluck and service. And all of a sudden, well, it was snowing, but the furnaces acted up. And so we had to cancel that service, which was being led by the chaplains. So now we're not doing the potluck, but we're definitely doing an evensong service. And we can be thankful every day. It doesn't have to be just Thanksgiving. So you are all invited in. It's at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, December 17th. Now it's time to thank everybody. I want to particularly thank Maura Lynch and the great job that you do, Maura. Thank you.
I really want to thank my choir. Thank you so much, and the music team. They've worked so hard, but thanks for the opportunity, Carol, to say this. I can't really play and talk at the same time. Well, I'll try. No, they've been unbelievable through the transition. Like, if I needed it, they just stepped up, whether there was funding or not. Like Brian, and he probably, most times he's ever played, when I've been able to conduct when Maggie's up there, he's probably offered it up. So many of the guest artists took 50% off their fee for a long time. So I just can't say enough for the choir. They're committed, dedication every single Sunday, and how hard they worked last night. And definitely for the boys in the band. I can lay anything down in front of them. They just get it. And I'm so grateful. But I'm really grateful for you and these 2 years. It's been an amazing gift to me. So thanks just so much. Yeah.
Thanks, Maura. As you can see, it takes a lot of sacred servers to put this service together. So I want to thank Mickey up in the back on PowerPoint.
Yay, Mickey.
And Jay on streaming, and Tammy on sound.
Tammy's on sound, did double duty last night.
And Rosemary, thank you for all your help today. Ushers, greeters, everyone. And now we're going to introduce the big song, and it's Peace Train.
Yes, there is a train coming, and I want to say, I'm going to take the privilege to say that there's a wonderful concert to raise money for women in recovery this afternoon at the Methodist Church in downtown Newburyport, and a lot of our singers at the church will be there for that fun. Tammy and I and Brian and Lynn Taylor and Lisa Plumley will be there, and so we're all part of the train. It's a peace train. We're bringing it on, a new world. Rolling down the tracks, she's calling all the people, calling us back to love, back where we belong in love. Well, it's a train that's calling us back to love. It's a peace train, come on, get on board. It's a peace train, everybody on the peace train, hallelujah, the peace train, ooh, it's the peace train, it's calling us back to love. Sing that again. Yes, it's a peace train, calling us back to love. Well, you don't need no ticket, you just take your place. Pack your bags, celebrate the love, this whole human race in love. Oh, it's a train, it's calling us back to love. What is it now? It's a peace train. Get on
it, you just get on board. Pack your bags and celebrate the love. Oh, human race in love. Now it's a train and it's got us back to love. Let's take it home with a chorus. It's a peace train. Come on, get on board. Peace train. Everybody's dancing on the peace train. Hallelujah, the peace train. Woo, woo. Peace train. Guide us back to love. It's a peace train. Guide us back to love. Let's sing it again. Oh, it's a peace train. Calling us back to love. Hallelujah. Woo! Yeah.
Woo.
Nice.
She's still going. All right, before the children come in, I would like to ask the Board of Trustees to stand up to be recognized. I forgot to do that the last time, too. But they're very important. And right now, I know we're still accepting applications for the board for beginning in February. So see one of these wonderful people if you have any questions about that or anything else about Unity on the River. Thank you, board.
Thank you.
All right. So let us welcome in the children. Here they come.
We are walking at the light of God. 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 We are walking, walking, we are walking. Oh, we are walking at the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking. Oh, we are walking at the light of God.
Good morning, everyone. Today we talked about the second week in Advent or Christmas, the week of love, and we reread the Christmas story, and we practiced for our pageant for next week. That's why they're all excited. Just want to remind everyone, all the families, that we have bell ringing practice. After you get your snack, go to the Joy Room for bell ringing practice today. Thank you. One more week. And Teddy, oh yes, Teddy's, they probably announced that already. Thank you so much for bringing in teddy bears. We're going to the nursing home next week. Thank you.
So thank you for joining us today. We just hope you take this message, take it out with you into the world. Bless all of you. Is anybody going to pray with Ogun? Do we have any? Oh, you can. All right.
Yay, hooray.
All right. So we're deciding, but we'll make our way down. But meanwhile, let's sing our peace song.
Got it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed.
Yuri's Bitnoff on the drums. Woo-hoo! Brian on those keys, Keith on the guitar, and Chuck Walker on that bass, rocking it. You know, just saying. And me on the mic. Yeah.